not guilty. And I told some people so. I'm Cole Johnson, and this is Cole Sports on the Daily, where I bring it to you on a daily basis. And I had a video planned, but this is hot off the presses. Yes, so hot that this is basically breaking news. Deshaun Watson, the embattled Texans quarterback who wants out of Houston, will not face criminal charges, but I'll go further into why all of this is taking place. But I've said this often. These charges just came up one after another back at this time last year. And I just found it all peculiar. And none of them filed for a criminal suit. None of them. None of them filed criminal charges against him. And here we are 1 year later. He won't face any. However, it does not mean that Deshaun himself is clear of all these things. He still will have to pay possibly punitive damages unless he can settle out of court with all of these 22 cases. I'll go further into it because I feel the need. Yeah, I got to write something. Email NFL fan. CC. Idiots. Subject of email. I told you Deshaun Watson was not guilty. Body of email. Let's lay the case out nice and neat. So there was, I guess you could say there was charges that came one after another from around January 2021 to March 2021. Deshaun Watson getting improper massages, and texts and DMs were shown of the exchanges between him and the masseuses. So because of this, Deshaun Watson has been persona non grata in the NFL. We hadn't seen hide nor hair from him. He hasn't conducted an interview. He hasn't even dropped a statement. He's been absolutely quiet. And this is actually coming off the heels of signing a 4-year, almost $160 million contract in 2020, and then following that up with throwing for the most yards in that season. So, of course, he was the hot commodity and still is. And I'll talk about the trade scuttlebutt that has been hot and rampant all throughout this time. Here's how it goes. So these charges come up. You have the lawyer, Tony Buzbee, who has a link to the Texans front office. You have him representing all 22 of these clients, saying that Deshaun sexually acted improper toward all of them. And I found this peculiar because I said, if we're talking sexual misconduct, well, I'm smelling criminal suit, because if he's going to be sexually improper with somebody, that shouldn't go. And if that's the case, he should be in jail. And if that's the case, he should have a criminal trial. And it's just that simple. And I had this argument actually at home with my wife about this. And I think what she was trying to get me to understand is that, well, he was a fool. Well, yeah, but you don't go to jail for being a fool. You go to jail for doing the criminal act. So all of these masseuses, and these are the ones who filed against Watson, they never filed a criminal lawsuit against him. And I always found it peculiar because I'm thinking, if my wife, my mother, my daughter, if any of them were to have something sexually improper happen to them, I'd want the person who did that act to them pay the price to make them say they cannot get away with such an act. That's how I think. That's how I thought then. I still 365 days later still think the same thing now. Nothing's changed. So he had to go under a deposition this past week in Harris County courts, and they heard 9 cases. In all those 9 cases, 8 of them were subpoenaed to testify in the grand jury hearing, but the grand jury hearing the cases said, we don't have a criminal charge to file here. So, of course, Deshaun was emotional. And I would get why he would be emotional about this. And he said about being so emotional, quote, I'm going to keep fighting to rebuild my name and rebuild my appearance in the community. And we're going to continue to, on the legal side, off the field, handle what we need to handle, but also ready to get back on the field. Close quote. Now, I'm going to address the following to Deshaun. So you are now 26. You are a young man with prowess. You're a young man with promise. You're a young man who now is entering the physical prime of your NFL career. And you have had success thrusted upon you, and you have shown to be a successful NFL quarterback to play it on an elite level. You've won playoff games even. But I think you learned the biggest lesson that you possibly could learn in your 20s, and that is you can't make stupid decisions anywhere. You can't make it on the field, and you most certainly can't make it off the field. And I'm saying this as bluntly as I possibly can, Deshaun. You are guilty. There's no question about it. You're not guilty of sexual impropriety. You are guilty of bad decision making. You shouldn't ever have been put in a position where some woman could have filed a charge against you of a sexual misconduct nature. Because of that, look at what it's cost you already. You didn't set foot on an NFL field for a solid year. No OTAs, no involuntary workouts, no training camp, no preseason, no regular season. And of course, you're still a member of the Texans. There's not going to be a playoff appearance for that team because they're in the mode of rebuilding. And in the midst of rebuilding, they are hitching their wagon to David Mills. That supposedly is going to be your replacement, but you're still a member of the Houston Texans. From the make that make sense department, you can lobby to want to be out of Houston all you want. The thing and the problem, though, with that, Deshaun, is that you belong to them. And it's harsh to say it that way, but it is. And you have found out for the past year, as the Dolphins have found out, as the Eagles have found out, as the Broncos has found out, as the Browns have found out, and possibly many other teams that we don't know about. But I think what the Steelers are going to find out, the asking price is going to be too high for them to want to get you to play for them. And you know what the Texans are asking for. They're asking for 3 first-round draft picks. They're asking for the combination of 3 lower round draft picks or 3 elite players. It could be 1 and 2, it could be 2 and 1. Doesn't matter. But they're looking for at least 3 first-round draft picks and either 3 lower round draft picks or 3 elite players or a combination thereof. And that is too much for a team to give up. I don't care how desperate they are to have you. I don't care how hungry they are to want you. The Texans, and I still wholeheartedly believe that they're under this, because I really believe this is a conspiracy against you, sir, because of them. I really believe they put this upon you. However, you made the bad choices. And that's where the fault lies. That is where the problem comes into play. So now you are a man without a country, so to speak, in the NFL. And you're still not out the woods, because if you're found liable for something, in liable and not liable in civil court, if you're found liable in one of these cases, you're going to serve some suspension time. So you're still not out the woods. Now, you may not face jail time now, but you still might face further damage to your reputation on the field. You've already lost a year to your bad decisions in arbitrarily getting a masseuse that is not either team sponsored or in a public setting where there are laws that will govern the masseuse to not go and be improper. And now you have to think smarter. Now you have graduated to what makes an NFL elite quarterback, and that is he makes the sound decisions on the field and he makes the sound decisions off the field. On the field, you pretty much had that handled. You knew how to make the right decisions on the field. It has taken this incident for you to learn to make the right decisions off of it. So yes, I am happy, sir, that you're not going to face criminal charges. But you have to now understand that you're an adult now. You're a grown man. And grown men have to put themselves in position to where no man, no woman, or no child can lay harm to you. And you have to protect others who can't protect themselves, much like the women who have filed these claims against you. So I really do hope this is a lesson for you, Deshaun. I still am a fan of yours, and I want you to go on to have a successful career, because I still believe you are a good guy. You are a good man. But even good men make horrible decisions. And for those who said that he's guilty, you should lock him up and throw away the key, this is proof right here. You don't have to throw away anything with him. He's good. But just like you and just like me, this was a big boy lesson he had to learn. And I'm glad he learned it now, and not behind, and I'm glad he learned it away from the field and not behind bars. Cole Johnson, Cole Sports with a Z on YouTube.com. Well, that's what I think. What do you think? Because I want to hear what you have to say, what your thoughts are matter to me. Like this video and share it all throughout your social media community. Again, comment below because I want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get any and all content that comes from this channel, whether it's on the daily or 2-minute warning or upon further review or the mothership or any other programming that comes from the Cole Sports channel on YouTube. That's all the time I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. For all of us here at Cole Sports, I'm Cole Johnson, and stay tuned for the mothership this weekend and another thing as well. This has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily. See you around.